Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts and the CNSL Season 7. We're in the round of 4, and we're starting match 2 here today between Motive and MisO. Just a ridiculously strong lineup in this round of 4. You know, I set it up before as saying, like, Yoon, Scan, Motive. It's basically 3 of the really top non-ASL guys that are still rising. And then the other player in this top 4, one of the most experienced players, if not the most experienced player in the tournament, MisO. He's been in a lot of ASLs, and here he is trying to assert his dominance over these up-and-comers. We're going to see if he is able to do that. Our first map is going to be Retro, and then onwards. Yeah, let's go ahead, jump into the game, and see how this is going to start out. In the top right, our experienced Zerg player, a very aggressive one at that. It is MisO. And his opponent in the bottom left, our up-and-coming Protoss star, it's Motive. Okay, so, here's my opinion, right? I definitely mentioned in the last series, I feel like Scan is probably playing the best in the tournament. Second best, I might give to Motive. I really feel like it's been, right, Scan's been playing phenomenally. Motive, his PVZs in the last round, unbelievable. Just completely unbelievably high skill level on his PVZs. He looked god tier. I actually was talking about it with CasterMuse. He's like, how'd you like that? It's impressive. And, I would actually say the person that third most that has, really impressed me would actually probably be Ruin, right? Who Scan did end up kind of bopping, but I thought Ruin was playing really fantastically through most of the tournament. Anyways, looking at Motive versus MisO, I give a slight edge to Motive, honestly. I think that Motive is just looking so strong. His PVZ in particular has looked really, really good. Now, MisO obviously always a very good and strong player. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. So, right now, we have Motive scouting out a little bit. We have the gateway going down, so gateway expansion. Gonna put on some Zealot pressure. Over here on MisO's side of the map, it is just a hatchery first. Of course, this is cross spawn, so even though it is gateway pressure, not sure exactly how much pressure he's going to be able to put on. And, the map being retro, I don't feel like that super changes it. I think it does change some of the late mid-game to late-game styles where you can't really attack. Like, for instance, MisO probably, if the game goes long, will have a really good setup in this area. And that will be difficult to deal with, right? Like, that's something that you basically can't bust. So, like, he'll have a 3-base setup that is pretty much impenetrable, and you're going to want to try to deny 4th and 5th bases, basically, as Protoss. If we get there, of course. We don't know exactly how this one is going to go. Now, the Nexus coming up. A few Lings on the way. Zealot turning around. Third hatch, of course, on location. So it seems like, with both sides just kind of expanding and plenty of units being made on each side, with no real aggression occurring, it's going to take a minute to really get into there. So I'd love to take this moment to thank you guys for checking out ArtosisCasts. I really do appreciate all the support from people. And yeah, definitely make sure that you are hitting that subscribe button, liking the video, leaving a comment and all that. I do still read them on the toilet. I try to give some thumbs up and likes at that point as well. But, yeah, it's been a pleasure, and I have some really fun stuff coming up after CNSL, so I know people are going to miss the tournament, but, a strong future ahead, and, of course, don't forget, in the summertime, there will be the second ASL season of this year, and hopefully following that, the second CNSL season as well. We'll see. So, right now, looking at this, plenty of Zerglings have been made by MisO, has 8 over here. Still some Zealots being made, but he is teching a little bit more quickly, right? We don't see consistent Zealot production, The forge is ready. May, in fact, want to throw a cannon down there just to be safe. You never know when you see 8-lings like this. Like, he's blocking scouting. It could be a speedling all in. You don't really know for sure. In fact, I mean, it could be any number of things, right? Like, it can be lings into a Hydra all in, all sorts of stuff. So the probe's still alive, still trying to run around a little bit. We do have that Zergling speed on the way. Layer coming up here for MisO. And, well, this kind of makes me think there's a possibility that we see Mutalisks here, but not entirely sure. Looking over at Motive's side of the map, he's actually started his Stargate before a Photon Cannon. This is getting to the very edges of greed. In fact, he's going to move out with 4 Zealots with nothing at all at home to defend. So while we can look at this and know that he's actually okay, you know, this is something that could be a little bit scary, right? Like right now, speed is about to finish. Okay, so speed finishes. Motive's going to realize that because he instantly loses his probe, and he's going to turn around immediately. If there was like a million Zerglings on the way, like for instance, if he had somehow snuck out more lings and blocked these, the game could end. But Motive gets back, and I gotta say, this is like an important thing to see from top-end Protoss players is the level of greed that they are able to pull off in the early game, right? Like, openers are a huge part of high-quality, like, pro StarCraft. You have to try to get an opener that puts you into a decent position. Playing from behind is extremely difficult, right? Like, that's a huge part of StarCraft skills, not getting behind. And if you look at this, we can absolutely say Motive is not behind. He's done a very good job kind of getting his tech up very quickly. You know, his first Corsair is coming over here, and what is he going to scout? Well, there's actually a Spire and a Hydralisk Den. Hydralisk speed on the way, as well as some Scourge. Kind of interesting. I feel like I don't normally see it that quick. Like, you normally don't see Overlord speed plus Hydralisk speed plus a Spire and Scourge all at the same time. That's actually kind of rare. If you're going to go for quick Hydralisk speed and Overlord speed, generally you don't get a Spire with that. Now, his second gas is up. He might be trying to trick him into thinking this is a Mutalisk play. Well, no, because he scouted the Hydralisk Den, but the second gas, right? Like, I almost feel like he wants him to think that so he can do a Hydra bust, but I don't think Motive thinks that at all, basically. But that might have been part of what he was doing here. He may have hoped that, like, the Corsair saw the Spire first and sees the second gas and is like, oh, okay, but it's really just mass Hydra being made right now. A couple Scourge scouting out these Zealots as they try to walk around a little bit. We have +1 ranged attack as well as the range upgrade here for the Hydras on the way. That Overlord speed almost done. And yeah, I mean, nothing too out of the ordinary here, really. A third cannon coming up. Kind of interesting diagonal cannon placement here from Motive. These two very far up at the front trying to protect that forge. That's kind of like what you're thinking about there. He's going to have to end up killing this cannon eventually. Not yet, but as he starts getting out Dragoons, that one will have to go. Now, he sees that Hydralisk speed. He sees the Overlord speed, so he's quite sure that there's not going to be any Mutalisks, at least for the foreseeable future. A lot of High Templars being made. The Corsair production has halted at 3, which I think is completely correct here. The Hydras and Lings and Overlords all come over, so it looks like he might be looking for a pre-Storm bust timing. Storm is on the way, but I think there's probably enough cannons plus these Zealots that it probably won't work. So notice how he keeps these away from the army. He'll bring them down if he needs them. Now, I think he will turn them around. The Zerglings go up there and actually buy some time. So these Hydras trying to push in right now. Yeah, but again, I don't think that there's enough. And with the Zealot flank, yeah, this feels to me like it's going a little bit better for Motive right now. You know, MisO will be able to kill off the Zealots if they continue to fight. But that feels like a pretty easy, pretty good hold. And in fact, like, he might be able to figure out that he can cancel these two. Because he definitely can cancel these two. If he doesn't, he's going to have to kill more buildings when those Dragoons start. All right, throws that Storm down. Let's see if he cancels. Yeah, there they are. Okay, so he has actually felt this out correctly. In fact, as his Corsairs got over here and saw that, you know, there's a bunch of Hydras at home, he knows that nothing else is really on the way right now. Now, a Robo on the way. More gateways coming up. Of course, canceling those cannons. Absolutely key to getting his gateway timings correct. Goes up to 8 gates plus robo. So everything working pretty well for Motive right now. Let's take a look over at MisO's side of the map. So right now he's got 6 hatch, which is pretty standard. That +1 missile attack almost done. Lurker upgrade coming. 3rd gas coming. So it does look like it's probably going to be a pretty heavy Hydra Lurker. And we'll see about that 4th base. Is he going to try to take 12 o'clock as his 4th? It kind of looks like it right now. So goes ahead, throws down that 4th hatchery up at 12. Plenty of High Templars out at the front, and the Dragoon production has begun. Dragoon range is coming up, of course, as well. An additional Photon Cannon here in the main base. So you can see he's kind of hedging against a Mutilus switch. No cannon here, but his army will be closer to this area, right? So a little bit harder to hit anyways. And, well, I mean, this all looks like it's going to just be a very normal macro game, right? We'll have to see if MisO wants to do a very defensive setup, which would consist of heavy defense, and just general heavy defense up here. Or is he going to want to try a containment type strategy where he like mostly sends units here, but some here as well? The place that these are being burrowed, this looks like it might be attack-based rather than containment-based. We'll see about that. A small group of Hydras. These are just kind of roaming about. You know, really hard to actually catch them. So he might actually just like run up and see if he can snipe something like a High Templar. You never really know, right? It does a little bit of scouting intel for you as well. So double Evo is going right now for MisO. Oh, he does start to run up here. Ooh, runs right into some Psystorm. So ends up losing 3 Lurkers plus a lot of damage on the other 2. Not a great attack there. Definitely a mistake. Still heavy production at home. You can see that MisO's drone macro has been pretty insane. Right? Yeah, he loses a few units here and there, but he's got 55 drones right now and 4 base. So, like, I'm sure MisO is not feeling bad about this game at the moment. Despite losing a couple Lurkers, it's not really the end of the world, although it does feel wasteful as they are kind of expensive. But right now, you know, still sitting on the 8 gates, still getting those quality upgrades, going for that +2 armor. 3rd Nexus is going to be finishing relatively soon. A couple of Photon Cannons. No High Templar or anything left here, so this is a bustable position, but the Zealots will buy a lot of time if things try to come up the ramp, like a group of Hydras, something like that. Lots of Lings and Lurkers being made by MisO right now. I wonder if he'll actually throw down a 3rd Evolution Chamber. He's got the Queen's Nest, so he's definitely thinking about Hive, but just seeing him make this many Lings, like he has a lot of hatches, so it kind of makes sense, but you know, it's something that we talk about sometimes, that actually Ling Lurker would be the strongest thing, and that's why +1 attack is so important on Zealots early on. You have to make the Zerglings inefficient. You need to make it so that the Zerglings just kind of melt, because if you didn't, then they just defend everything with Zerglings, have a huge gas bank, get a million Lurkers, and you wouldn't be able to do anything from there. So anyways, this is the position I was talking about before. When this happens, you shouldn't attack. Okay? That's a super strong army that we're seeing here. But watch, he's not going to break this. I have seen this attack on Retro 40, 50 times. It has never broken through. Just watch. Ling's coming up for a little bit of a flank. You can see this arc. He just cannot get in there. Some Lings coming up, more rallies coming in as well. A flank from that 4th base coming down. Some good Psystorms and everything, but as you run out of Psystorms, the Dragoons become complete garbage and just get cleared. You know, I think that this is the big difference between Bisu and basically just about every Protoss. Well, actually, there's a few that do it now, right? Snow's really good at this matchup now. Like, it's the decision to do a full engage like that. Well, this is always the hard thing. It's the hard thing about Terran versus Protoss. It's the hard thing about Protoss versus Zerg, right? Where your opponent kind of has like great map control and it's hard to attack into them, like deciding which engagements you actually want. Now he comes in here and he's going to kill a few Lurkers. He kills like 3-4 Lurkers so far, a few Hydras and everything, but he is losing some Dragoons. This doesn't look like something that's going to stay forever. I can't believe he's taken that as his 4th, but okay, excited about it. Some good storms coming down, some good poking and prodding, but you can see his High Templar count has actually fallen pretty dramatically. And I do want to reiterate here that I do think attacking in here was kind of a poor idea. We had a sick army for Motive, and now he's lost a lot of it. We'll see if maybe he can try to snowball, as he has reduced that lurker count to basically non-existent numbers. There is a little attack coming up to what is supposed to be his 4th base. Unfortunately for him, not going to be able to do too much against that. Continuing to try pushing here. 6 Ice Storm right there. More and more units coming up, so this is going to get canceled, it looks like, even with these Zealots coming up. I don't think that they can do too much. We actually have Adrenal and +1 melee on the way, so like really good upgrades coming from MisO. I actually really like the way MisO's playing this. Honestly, like the way that he's playing right now, I feel like if I was a Zerg player, this is probably how I would try to approach the matchup. Like this feels very good from MisO. The fact that he's getting Adrenal quickly, he's keeping those upgrades going, he's got a lot of hatches, pumping out a lot of lings. It's giving him a lot of flexibility to run around and do counterattacks and things like that, right? So right now, the supplies are in very similar spots. 4 base against 3 base, because this one is about to die. Kind of a crazy idea to take that. I think down here obviously makes more sense. It's further away. But it could, like, I see in a way, if you're roaming about, okay, so if you're like roaming in this area, maybe this is a decent base to take. Okay, so I want to talk, I mentioned at the beginning of this about how the like late mid game to late game is played a little bit different on retro. Everything else is kind of the same. So to go back to that, it is about this area, right? So this area is unbreakable, and going up small ramps into tight confines, well, if they have any units there, it's not doable. We see that there was literally only 1 sunken here for MisO, so he is like, this is coming up here, but yeah, there's not enough to actually do it. So basically on retro, the game turns into a roaming game, right? Like I mentioned before, he should not have attacked here, okay? Look at what we're looking at here. Motive is down by like 20 supply right now. That wouldn't have been the case if he didn't try to break in here. You know, you get up to these armies with Protoss where they are more cost efficient unless you're consistently attacking into stuff. Right? So he was consistently attacking in, the quality of his army dropped, the army supply dropped. It's about scaling. You want to get a bigger army and kind of hold on to it. And especially on this map where you can't actually attack certain locations. You know, Tasis once said in a cast that we had that I think about it all the time, where like, if you can't kill a base, don't kill it. It sounds deceptively simple, but that's actually what's so beautiful about it. Right? If there's a place that you know you can't attack, you know, like from experience, like, no, you can't really break a base like this. Don't attack it. Holy crap. What a thought. Anyways, you know, I think that it's one of those situations. So like what we should be seeing, this is what I'm trying to build up to right now. A little bit messy there. I love, by the way, that he has defilers this quick. What we should be getting into, okay, is Motive keeping a very strong army roaming. This is a great map for Protoss roams, right? So if you're kind of roaming this general area, the center, if Zerg tries to come out, what is this? 3 Size Storms wide, right? It's like they do kind of naturally go through a choke. Deny other main bases, right? If he's roaming the whole time and he has a huge maxed army, well, your Size Storms are going to do fantastically. And, you know, you can do things like prevent this. This base, if he holds that, he probably will win. Now, a little attack coming up. Does get some decent Size Storms down. The Dark Swarm will make this a little bit difficult, but some Zealots coming up. Oh, God, the Lurkers coming to the ramp. Good Size Storms, though. The Size Storm's so crucial here. And in fact, throws another Size Storm down this ramp. Has plenty of units. Looks like he will be able to hold this 4th base, and that's really important. If he loses the 4th now, the game's over. Truly. Like, Motive needs to hold his 4th. You can see his main is gone. His natural is gone. 4th base, incredibly important. You really do always need to have 2 mining bases. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's obvious math where it's just like, if you have 1 base, you basically can't really make a big army off 1 base. 2 base? Okay, yeah, you can. Now, more Darkstorm pushes coming in here. This is a very Dragoon-heavy army at the moment, so it could be a little bit hard to hold on. He is making Reavers, leaves some Zealots up here, has some Size Storm. So definitely some decent things going on still at this defense. Really heavy pushing going on from MisO. Very cool stuff. Like, I love the idea that he's trying to grind through. Now, he is getting Defiler Energy, which means he already has Plague, but we should be seeing some Plague come up here as well. All right, throws down a nice Storm on those Lurkers. Really, it's great to soften this stuff up with a Plague and then maybe come back and hit it later. So we're going to see a Plague, I think, go off. There it is. Beautiful, beautiful Plague there. So that'll help him to break this a little bit later. Plague, just such a great tool for Zerg in the late game. So grindy, so annoying to play against. Now, let's take a look at these positions, right? 5th base for MisO. MisO's at 65 drones. That's about as many as you ever want in StarCraft 1, right? That's a huge, huge, huge drone count. His economy is unbelievable. Unbelievable right now. Upgrades, look at this. +2, +3. Amazing, amazing upgrades here for Motive. He's getting plenty of Reavers out as well, getting shuttle speed. A little bit of roaming around the mid. We do have +3 carapace on the way. We do have +3 missile attack, I believe it is. Yep, +3 missile attack on the way. He has Adrenal already. Starts at plus... is that +3? Yeah, +3 melee. So just both sides getting the ultimate upgrades right now. But I would say for Motive here, okay? Again, like... Now, here's something, actually, Snow said this, and this is, I think that this is such a beautiful way to boil down PvZ a little bit. Snow mentioned that you shouldn't really do engagements. What you should do is run up and throw down Psy Storms and make Zerg bleed into you and then back up. And you know what? That comes back to what I was talking about before. Like, so much when you are the cost-efficient race that doesn't get as many bases, you have to gain value over time. It's about unit retention more than anything else, right? So if you're going to have less bases, unit retention. Just keeping your army alive, getting that value out of those units. The Psy Storm's going off consistently. Really, really big deal. Nice Plague comes down. Still has a reasonable little containment there, ready for a push as well. Uh-oh, drone going down for this area. That's a little bit scary. DT drop into the top left. Does have 3 High Templars in here, so might be able to get some very good damage here on Storm. Yeah, pretty decent Storms there. Ooh, my God. That's a lot of dead drones. So really, really well done. Does not want to lose this, though. Oh, loses it immediately. Yeah, nothing you can really do about that, though. If they have the Scourge there, you're not getting out. So this base actually gets mined out quicker than I thought it would, this 3rd base location. The Natural still has a little bit of minerals, which is kind of funny to see. And trying to take this new base, he definitely needs to stop this. If you get, like, in any matchup, if you get 3 of the 4 mains, you're the winner. You just can't let this go up. And he's got plenty of Zealots in here. He should be able to break through this pretty easily, I'd say. He needs to bring his detection back, though. His Observer goes way beyond. That's too bad. A little bit of an engage here. Kind of a crazy big macro game to open up between these two. 22 minutes in already. All right, 4 Reavers coming up. Ooh, love to see it. That is going to be a very, very useful tool. Now we have Observer Speed as well as Plasma Shield. So really kind of getting these endgame upgrades. Hasn't gotten that Reaver damage yet. We'll see if he wants to get that at some point or not. And in fact, for Reavers that are sitting defensively, I even like the Scarab Capacity upgrade, to be honest. Anyways, comes up here and... Well, yeah, those Storms are really scary against this very clumped army. MisO being a little bit cost inefficient here for sure. The Reaver's going to be able to clear this base easily. And it is actually now time for Motive to think about taking another base. I think either of these bases is a very, very good call. On MisO's side, he is missing a tool that I would really like to see added in right now, and that would be drops. I think that upgrading drops right now could be something really, really useful. I don't see a great place to drop right at this moment, but it's quite likely we'll get to a position or something will open up where a drop would be good, right? Like, for instance, this base is technically better than this base, but drops could hurt this, right? So if he were to take this, like a little drop and just some Zerglings might be able to clear it out, that type of thing. Not sure you would want to try to clear anything here as it's getting really low. Maybe not as worth it. Looks like a new base being taken here by MisO. A little attack from Motive on the right side of the map. Now, this base is not super important. That's not to say that it's worthless, though. He's coming up here, and yeah, going to get on top of these lurkers with those Archons and Zealots, so he's going to be able to clear those out pretty well. Killing off, you know, there is a little bit of gas being mined still. You know, it hasn't quite depleted all the way, but also getting rid of 3 of the hatcheries, and not just that, but an area of darkness for Zerg. All of that is useful. Right? Like, in some of these crazy games, sometimes it's just good to clear out some buildings so they don't see parts of the map. It gives you, like, a little bit more flexibility in what you can do. Now, mass lurker, dude. Look at that. 11 lurkers coming down, but he does have those Reavers. Some cannons going to slow the lings, but not by much. Throw some Psy Storms down. Lurkers trying to clear what they can here. And just so cost efficient. Holy crap. MisO well, he's killed the cannons. He's going after the Nexus. I don't think he'll quite get it. You can see how quickly the cracklings deal damage to buildings, Protoss buildings. It's pretty insane. But yeah, he does end up saving it. Really, really important. I would say the #1 thing in this game, Motive must keep this base. 100%. If he loses this base, he loses the game. Right? We're running out of this base. What did I say before? You need 2 bases. You absolutely have to have at least 2 mining bases. 1, 2. Those are going to be his 2 bases for now. And obviously, he does want to get this. And if you split half-half, right? So, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then your opponent, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You split 6 and 6. Protoss should end up winning that. Sometimes Zerg can maybe get a little bit tricky there with Defilers and end up getting really cost efficient, but realistically, when your composition is closer to Reaver, Archon, High Templar, man, it's difficult for Zerg to get through there with even bases. That's for sure. So maintaining the bottom right, like, even if you went up and killed this, he's still got some mining going on and he can retake it. And it would probably be very cost inefficient to try to attack all the way across the map into that. It also opens you up to counterattack over here. So really right now, it's just about keeping these alive. So I think mostly just roaming this general area with his army is the right play. I want to mention a few upgrades that I see. +2 plasma shields coming up. That Reaver damage upgrade I was talking about. And now the drops. Now he's realizing, oh gosh, I am going to need drops to be able to attack that bottom right main. So I think that's a really, really good choice. Reavers have been plagued, or at least a few of them, so a little bit messy there. Yeah, some more good plagues going down. Ooh, almost snipes that. Good tries there from MisO. Supply is actually surprisingly close right now. MisO definitely with a better economy, but he is scheduled to mine out first, right? Now, Motive getting ready for this bottom right base. With those drop upgrades almost done, he's going to have a very careful defense. Look at the production tab. 13 lurkers, like 9 hydras, 5 pairs of lings. It's scary, the amount that MisO is putting out right now. He's caught up in supply to Motive. Motive is going to want to transfer some probes down, make sure that he's got his efficiency all over the place as far as mining goes. He does have the double robo. He does have the heavy Reaver counts. And notice he is still kind of like roaming about a little bit. And I love the roam. Like, you could sit here, but then your opponent can kind of box you in and there's no room for micro. There's no room for grinding them down as they approach you, right? So I love that he's trying to engage up here, but he's just got to be careful not to lose this whole army. He needs to be able to bring this back to the rest of his army. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right, somehow gets those Reavers out of there, or at least one of them. Getting some good Scarabs. Yeah, the Hydras come up and pick off those shuttles super, super fast. We'll see if he's able to actually clear these and keep the Reavers alive. I don't think so. I think he's going to lose everything here. Generally, that is how that would end up going. Yeah, he's going to get that last Reaver, and in fact, he'll get the Dragoon as well and the High Templar. So you can see, unfortunately, he does lose that roaming army, which is going to make this game a lot harder for Motive. Now, that being said, this is the all-star team of defense. Plus damage Reavers, High Templars, and these do have Kadarian Amulet, so they do have a maximum of 3 storms when they charge up their energy, and a bunch of cannons in there, just to make sure you can't just run up and free kill everything. Oh my god, the DT does as designed. Runs up and snipes 2. Not 1, but 2 Defilers. Really clutch play. Defilers with Plague is actually how you end up dealing with this over time. All right, Mass Hydra Lurker coming down. Really, it's good to run a few units in here because it does eat up some scarabs. Now, don't forget, the scarabs will be making basically all the time. It's something like, I know it in my head, but I don't know it to say it out loud. But like, if you have a 5 scarab, full 5 scarabs, and they just produce nonstop, you have to. They shoot 7 before they actually have a longer cooldown time, right? Where they're making it and they don't have any ammo left, basically. Now, here comes that drop, right? This is something that absolutely is critical right now. MisO does a 3 Overlord drop with a ton of lings here, like 24 lings, it looks like, on this base. And even with Storm and Reavers, if any of these lings survive, man, they will kill everything. These cracklings, unbelievably strong. Oh my god! Honestly, if he spreads these lings, they're going to get a lot of damage. But no, gets them all with 1 scarab hit. Kind of nice. Little Lurker Hydra spread here. The Overlord's going out maybe to pick up some more units. This is a very tricky game right now. So we've switched it around from kind of the roaming offensive/defensive play from Motive into MisO realizes he must kill things. Because right now the map is perfectly split. Yeah, there's this, but this doesn't matter as much. Yeah, the map is like basically perfectly split. So MisO has to do something or the cost efficiency of Protoss will kill him. And that'll be that. Right? It's funny things about this type of map. With its like a 12 base 4-player map, right? It's like it gets split up and suddenly one race actually has a big advantage. Now, Mass Lurker Ling coming into this base. Yeah, there is a not an observer, but an Overlord there, so we'll be able to see that. It looks like the whole bottom left is going to be killed. In the meantime, a little army comes out here. And we'll see what... Oh, God, I think he's microing elsewhere. So he's losing, like... Is this going to be five High Templars being picked off because he wasn't looking? Oof. That is a really, really painful one. I think MisO is about to take this game. Like... 5 High Templars right now. You put those back in this area, and it's... I feel like everything is still pretty unbreakable. But as is, he's basically killing all the production that Motive had... And he got rid of so much of the quality splash damage that Motive had. So, yeah, that felt like actually a very crucial moment there. I do feel like MisO's basically got it. And you can kind of see it reflected here. 50 supply advantage for MisO. You know, right now, Motive is still trying to hold on to this general area. He still has some important tech buildings here that are going to be very expensive for him to remake. It's not like he has a big bank or anything. He needs to make production facilities as well. And this is turning into such a Reaver-based defense. I'm going to throw this out there. I know that I say it as a half joke sometimes, but like this would be a good spot to get a Greater Spire. If your opponent's defense turns into like mostly Reaver-based stuff, like if you put 1 Guardian here, that takes 2 Storms, right? How many Templars do we have? We're in this weird low econ situation. We have 4 High Templars, so it's like, how many Guardians can he actually get through there, right? And he has to keep making those. And the thing is, there's a lot more gas that can be mined here, by far for MisO. So I wanted to throw that out there. I don't think it's going to occur. Some Zerg players will do it. I think it's like a Sulky would do it type of thing, but maybe not MisO here. Now, trying to keep these Reavers cleaning things up. Scourge following, so he will fly out of here. Drag that Scourge into the Photon Cannons. He's kind of trying to prevent him. You can see MisO has rallied all of his units out to this area. Mostly Zerglings. He is getting ready to take this central base. No reason not to. I feel like the only times you see this in 2 matchups. TVP and ZVP. Like, Zerg can take it in these situations, and Terran can take it against Protoss in general. And other than that, I can't think of any other situations where I ever see this base taken on Retro. And we've had a lot of games on Retro at this point. Oops. Sloppy Archon there. All right, so the buildings are gone. Observer, probe in here, whatever. This area is cleared out. He's supply blocked. This area has just a Robo as far as quality. Oh, and an observatory. Okay. Robo, Gates, Templar Archives is back. Good to see. So, at this point, it's like tower defense, something like that, right? Save the Nexus if you played the use maps, right? Like, this is all going to be about Psy Storms, Reaver Scarabs, that type of thing. And MisO's just going to try to break him. I mean, he's up by 90 supply right now. 80 army supply, and don't forget, Zerglings are a half supply, Hydras are 1 supply, right? Whereas everything you see in here is minimum 2. Well, other than the Observer, but who cares? So it's like a way bigger army for Zerg here. Now, it looks like he wants to drop into the natural. The Lings are going to come up and start sucking some hits out and take some cannon shots. Starts throwing storms down onto these Overlords. I don't know if that was the best play because he did not end up killing any of them, but he's getting unbelievable Psy Storm damage. Just ridiculous Psy Storm damage. Now, he's going to try to pick up some of these Reavers, I think, and reposition them. But he's going to end up losing this base. Very unfortunate here. Very unfortunate for Motive. Not a whole lot that he can do at this point. Just does not really have very much left over. He's lost that Robo now, so we still do have a Robo here. Wow, look at that, 35 kill Reaver. Holy crap. What a crazy Reaver. Oh my god, the cost inefficiency is killing me, even at this point in the game. That is a wild Reaver. I want to see this thing. This thing is nearing 40 kills right now. $37 kills. That is a pretty damn good. That's like a Snow-esque Reaver right there, man. All right, gets another great Scarab off there. Going to back up. 49. This is getting crazy. All right, well, he is clearing very, very well with this army. You can see the crazy cost efficiency trying to come up a ramp, even with Dark Swarm, even with Plagues going down. Dude, this Hero Reaver. I forget what the Hero Reaver name is right now, but this is him, the new one, Motive's Reaver. Oh, does he actually have an Observer here? I actually don't see one. More Lings coming up. There's so much bank here still. This does not look very doable still. Like, I mean, if you're only bringing Lings up, I feel like you should actually be bringing up some Hydras or something here as well, right? Like the Archons and Zealots and Reavers are just doing so well here. Again, imagine a Guardian here. How good that would be. How many kills on this Reaver? He needs to stop making Scarabs so he can check. Don't know if that will ever occur. Just constant shooting. Such a ridiculous efficient unit. This Observer is in there, which is kind of nice. Would be good to target that down, actually. 74 kills. Holy crap. Pulls him back. 76. This is one of the crazier defenses, man. Like, this is really something else. And Motive's still mining. Like, he's still got a lot to mine, right? If he's making basically just some Zealots, High Templars, which then later become Archons, and then Reaver Scarabs, like, you're going to hold on for a long time. I mean, I have to occasionally just mention that Guardians would straight win this game. 94 kills! 94! Unbelievable. Dude, are we going to get to 100 kills? You know, there's a max kill count that can show on any unit. It's 255, I believe it is. Of course, those of us who've played a lot of big game hunters against computers have hit that number on units before. All right, so Motive is actually moving out a little bit, which is kind of shocking. Dude, if Motive were to win this game, that would be like the craziest thing I've ever seen in my whole life. This Reaver is still alive. This Reaver hasn't had a shuttle with him for a very long time, by the way. This Reaver's just walking around. 103 kills. This is unbelievable. We are 38 minutes into this game, almost 39 minutes. What do we actually have left mining at this point? Look at this. He's eating overlords for energy. Yeah, the plagues aren't doing anymore. It just makes the Reaver look cool. He's been plagued for the entire game. Okay, almost gone. Gone. Dude. This is like all the mineral patches left. A storm drop. Holy crap. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Chills are coursing through my body. Is there a world in which Motive wins this game? I do not even think that there is only just a world, but it is actually this world. Which is shocking, because I thought I lived in a reasonable universe. But it turns out we live in one of those fringe universes where there's some Artosis being like, LOL, imagine a universe in which Motive wins this game. Okay, he finally lost the Reaver. I don't know how many kills that thing ended up on. I might actually go back into the replay and check afterwards. But that thing was well over 100 kills. Unbelievable, unbelievable play. Okay, so we're having a big engage here. The Hydras are a great add-in. They do really well against the Archons. Look at these. The Defiler's getting wiped there. Hydras still doing a good job. Okay, the new Reaver going to try to live up to his predecessor's fame and glory, but I don't think that's possible at this point. I don't think you can make another 100 units in this game with what's left. Hydra's being pushed back. Dude, what in the hell am I looking at? Is Motive actually going to win this game? There's no money left. Where's the army? So some lings. We got 11 lings. That's... Oh my God! Oh my God! I cannot believe that Motive just won that game. That was unbelievable. And the best Reaver we've seen in years in a pro game. I think maybe since Legionnaire's Reaver back in like 2004 or whatever. Holy crap. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is going to be a killer series. Motive takes game 1 against MisO. GG. Thanks for watching.